Hello guys, my name is Francois. Today, I want to discuss a serious topic about the current state of Mortal Online 2 in 2025. In this video, I will discuss this topic by breaking it down into 5 key questions. I hope everyone can brainstorm and think about a way to make this game better. So, let's get started. The first question, is this game worth playing right now? In my opinion, this game is not worth getting into at the moment. Let me explain the conditions you need to meet if you want to truly enjoy it. Condition 1. You need to choose the right build. The first thing you must do upon entering the game is to choose the correct build. This game is entirely PvP oriented, meaning that picking the wrong build will result in a terrible experience. For example, archers are completely useless in this game. Aside from shooting down enemy mounts, they serve no real purpose. Don't assume there's some secret way to make archers viable. There isn't. Unless the developers change how bows work or adjust their stats, archers will remain worthless in ground PvP. Therefore, you must pick the right build. However, the viable builds are extremely limited, essentially boiling down to warriors and mages, just with different race choice. Let's go condition 2, the extreme grind. Even if you can accept the first condition, the second issue is the reason why 80% of players quit. The grind is unbearable. The farming process is mind-numbingly repetitive yet absolutely necessary. If you don't grind, your stats will fall significantly behind other players. Worse still, the current farming system is incredibly broken. Until you reach mastery level 80, you're basically a non-factor in PvP. And it's not just character level you need to farm, there's also the issue of trinket. At this point, the only remaining players are veterans who already own top tier trinket. Almost every veteran player has OP trinket. But as a new player, you have only 2 options to obtain them. Option 1. Farm for 10 years by slowly grinding bandits, earning just 15 gold per quest. Even if you manage to earn 100 gold per hour, a good trinket costs at least 20,000 gold. You can do the math yourself to see how long that would take. After all that grounding, only then will you start experiencing the real game. The option 2, go to RNT and become one of those pay-to-win players who buy their way to victory, despite being looked down upon. But as a new player, what other choice do you have? The developers claim to be cracking down on RNT, but in reality, they give new players no real alternative. Expecting a newcomer to spend thousands of hours farming just to catch up is unrealistic. This is why so many players resort to RNT. The result, the developers don't make money because they don't sell gold or in-game items directly. What happens when developers stop making money? Updates slow down, optimization gets worse, and gameplay improvement take forever. As long as those issues persist, new players will never join, leading to even lower revenue. It's a vicious cycle. I'd rather the developers sell in-game currency or items themselves, ensuring they at least profit from it, instead of letting gold seller exploit the system. If this continues, the game will eventually die. If you read all of this and still want to play, then congratulations, you are 1 in a million. Question 2. What can you do as a new player? Your best bet as a new player is to join a large guild. Do not even think about creating your own guild or playing solo. Every resource-rich area in the game is controlled by large guild. If you try to start your own guild or play solo, even leveling up will be a nightmare. Don't assume you can just grinding bandits or do quests for money and experience. Unless you're insane, you won't want to do that. A large guild controlled area can generate 1,000 to 3,000 gold per hour, while bandits and quests barely give you 50 to 100 gold in the same time frame. The efficiency difference is massive. If you truly want to enjoy the game, join the biggest guild you see on the map as soon as you log in. That's your best chance at a decent experience. If you insist on playing solo or starting your own guild, I wish you luck, because 90% of those who try fail, including myself. Save yourself the trouble and just join a big guild. Question 3. What is there to do after grinding everything? Once you farm everything you need, the only thing left to do is endless PvP. If the game had a fair and balanced PvP system, maybe the endgame will be enjoyable. But if you think that's the case, you're mistaken. In the late game, you will face one of two problems. If you roam alone looking for fight, you will get Zerg. Or, if you go out in a group, you will wander for hours without finding in a fight. That's the reality of the game. In the end, all gameplay boils down to Zerg or get Zerg. All dungeons and resources have no player limits, so victory always goes to the side with more people and more money. Your only real option is to recruit more players. But how? You can't, because new player must join large guild for a good experience. Anyone who tries to start a small guild or play solo will either quit or join a big guild eventually. This vicious cycle means that the only thing left to do in the late game is bully new players. And that is exactly what many veteran players do. Kill newbies on site just for fun. This only drives new players away even faster. The game is unsustainable. Question 4. Why can't this game grow? By now, the reasons should be clear, but here is a summary. 1. New players has no meaningful gameplay experience. The journey from noob to veteran is far too long, and modern players don't have the time. Most just quit. 2. Massive wealth disparity. The only way to get ahead is to join a large guild, making them even stronger while smaller groups struggle even more. 3. The endgame has no content. Once you farmed everything, PvP is either one-sided or non-existent. The few fights that happen are mostly against helpless new players. 4. Slow and ineffective updates. The developer ignore key issues like RNT, new player experience, and balanced PvP. Instead, they make minor, irrelevant updates. 5. Too many major bugs and strange mechanics. Many serious bugs remain unfixed. For example, when dismounting, your horse often floats in the air or sinks into the ground. Additionally, the game has odd mechanics, such as allowing players to build a house near a stronghold, but not a stronghold near a house. This means if you want a complete village, you must start with a stronghold. However, for new players, a stronghold costs 2,500 gold, which is completely unreasonable. Question 5. How can these issues be fixed? Improving new player retention. Reduce the XP required for leveling up drastically. The grind before reaching master level is completely meaningless and only feels like a chore. Level 1 to 20 should take no more than 3 hours to complete. Addressing OP trinket. We get 2 options can fix this problem. Option 1. Nerf trinkets so they become minor enhancement rather than game-breaking necessities. Option 2. Make powerful trinket easily obtainable for all players. If trinkets are essential, then at least make them accessible to everyone. Solving the RNT problem. The developer should sell gold directly. Right now, RNT exists regardless, but instead of benefiting the game, the money goes to third-party sellers who contribute nothing to the game's future. Curbing large guild dominance. Implement player limits in dungeon to create fair fight. Prevent guilds from building TC structure near dungeons, so they can respawn infinitely and control PvP zones unfairly. Adding engaging late-game content. Add a structured PvP mode, like Hellgate or something similar, where fights are fair and balanced. Stop forcing Zerg vs Zerg gameplay. PvP should be fun, not a numbers game. Fixing game-breaking bugs. Fix the bugs that seriously impact gameplay, such as mouse flying into the sky or sinking into the ground when dismounting. Address bug spot where pets cannot attack players, creating unfair advantages. I'm a player who truly loves this game, which is why I'm pointing out its issues. I want to see it improve. I know everyone has different opinions, but the fact is, the player base is shrinking. I hope the developer take this problem seriously. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Francois, and I'll see you in the next video.